Hello everyone, and welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, the channel dedicated to helping you navigate the complexities of life with wisdom and grace. If this is your first time here, we encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content focused on personal growth, financial well-being, and finding deeper meaning in your life, especially for those of us over 40. Sometimes life leads us down paths we don't understand. We lose something, face a crisis, or feel like everything is falling apart around us. But what if every challenge contained a hidden purpose? What if every loss, every mistake, and every unexpected turn was actually a carefully placed stepping stone on a much grander path? Buddhism teaches us that nothing is truly random, everything is interconnected. Every experience, both pleasant and painful, shapes us, teaches us invaluable lessons, and ultimately brings us closer to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In this video, we'll delve into the profound wisdom of Buddhism, exploring how to trust life's inherent process, accept what happens without resistance, and transform every obstacle we encounter into a valuable opportunity for growth. If you've ever found yourself asking, "Why is this happening to me?" or feeling lost and confused by life's unexpected twists, then stick with us until the end. The insights we'll share might just change the way you perceive life forever. If you want more information like this, please like this video. Today, we're focusing on the hidden purpose of suffering, and how it can lead us to greater wisdom and resilience. Pain is, without a doubt, one of the most universal human experiences. No one, regardless of their background or circumstances, completely escapes loss, failure, or profound disappointment. However, what truly sets us apart isn't the hardships we inevitably face, but rather how we choose to interpret and respond to them. In Buddhism, suffering is not viewed as a form of punishment or some cruel twist of fate orchestrated by a malevolent force. Instead, it's seen as a disguised teacher, a potent catalyst for growth and transformation. Even if we can't fully grasp it in the moment, every hardship, every setback, and every painful experience holds a hidden purpose, waiting to be discovered. When we experience pain, our natural instinct is to resist it. We desperately want the problem to disappear, for things to go back to the way they were, for the discomfort and anguish to vanish entirely. But what if suffering isn't here to punish or break us down? What if it's here to transform us, to mold us into stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient versions of ourselves? Many of life's greatest lessons, the ones that profoundly shape our character and understanding, only arrive through the crucible of pain. Just as fire purifies gold, burning away the impurities and revealing its true brilliance, difficulties strip away what's unnecessary in our lives, forcing us to confront our vulnerabilities and ultimately revealing our true essence. The Buddha taught that suffering is inevitable, it's an inherent part of the human condition. But unnecessary suffering, the kind that arises from our resistance and attachment, is ultimately a choice. The critical difference lies in how we choose to face it. If we cling to pain, dwelling on it and allowing it to define us, we inevitably prolong it, trapping ourselves in a cycle of negativity. If we fight it, resisting its presence and desperately trying to escape, we paradoxically make it stronger, amplifying its power over us. But if we learn to observe it without fear, allowing it to be present without judgment or resistance, we discover that within every painful experience, there is a seed of wisdom patiently waiting to be understood. As we continue our discussion, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to ensure you never miss an episode. There's a classic Buddhist story that beautifully illustrates this concept. A disciple, feeling overwhelmed and defeated by life's challenges, complained to his master about how unfair his life was. He felt like everything was constantly working against him, and nothing ever seemed to go his way. The master listened patiently, offering no immediate solutions or platitudes. After the disciple had finished pouring out his heart, the master asked him to bring a handful of salt. He then instructed the disciple to put the salt into a glass of water and drink it. The disciple followed the master's instructions, took a tentative sip of the salty water, and immediately grimaced, exclaiming that it was far too bitter to drink. The master, remaining calm and unperturbed, then led the disciple to a nearby lake. He told him to throw the same handful of salt into the water of the lake. Afterward, he asked the disciple to drink from the lake again. This time, the disciple smiled and said the water tasted pure and refreshing. The master then turned to the disciple and said, "Suffering in life is like the salt. It remains the same, its essence unchanging. What changes is the container you place it in. If you want your suffering to taste less bitter, expand your perspective, broaden your understanding, and increase your capacity to hold it." This story teaches us a profound and powerful truth. When we focus solely on our pain, allowing it to consume our thoughts and emotions, it inevitably fills every part of us, coloring our entire experience of life. But when we widen our view, when we understand that each experience, even the most painful ones, is part of something bigger, something more meaningful, the pain stops consuming us. Instead of constantly asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a question that often leads to feelings of helplessness and despair, we can shift our perspective and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me? What hidden wisdom can I glean from this experience?" So often, the hardest experiences in life lead us to our greatest breakthroughs, the moments of profound transformation that shape who we become. What once seemed like a devastating tragedy can later reveal itself as a hidden blessing, a catalyst for positive change that we never could have anticipated. Losing a job might push us to finally pursue our passions and discover a more meaningful and fulfilling career. The end of a relationship, while initially painful, might teach us the invaluable lesson of self-love and the importance of setting healthy boundaries. A personal crisis, a moment of profound upheaval, might open our eyes to a completely new way of living, one that is more aligned with our values and our true selves. Buddhism invites us to see suffering not as an enemy to be avoided at all costs, but as an opportunity for profound growth, a chance to learn and evolve. It's not about actively seeking out pain, but about understanding that when it inevitably comes, it's not here to destroy us. It's here to teach us, to guide us, and to help us become the best versions of ourselves. Every tough situation, every challenging experience, forces us to develop new abilities and cultivate inner strengths we never knew we possessed: patience, resilience, compassion, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. It shows us the parts of ourselves that still need healing and gives us the chance to transform our weaknesses into strengths. At Wisdom and Wealth, we believe in empowering you with knowledge and practical tools for a more fulfilling life. If you are enjoying this video, please give it a like now. If you want to put this into practice the next time you face a challenge, instead of instinctively resisting it, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this situation to grow, to evolve, and to become a better version of myself? What is this pain revealing about myself, my values, and my path in life? Suffering is an inherent part of life, but it doesn't have to define us, nor does it have to consume us. When we accept its lessons, when we embrace the wisdom it offers, we stop seeing it as an enemy and start using it as a powerful tool for transformation. In the end, every trial we face, every hardship we endure, is just another step on our path toward awakening, toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. No chaos, no transformation. Comfort is a state we all seek, it's a natural human desire to find ease and security. But rarely do we stop to consider its potential effects on us. When life runs smoothly, when everything seems under control and predictable, we tend to settle into a comfortable routine. We cling to what we know, resisting change and avoiding risks. We choose the perceived security of the familiar over the uncertainty and potential discomfort of the unknown. But in Buddhism, there is a clear and unwavering teaching: without chaos, there is no transformation. It's often the moments that shake us to the core, the experiences that disrupt our carefully constructed sense of order, that become the catalysts for real and lasting change. Crises, while undeniably painful and disorienting, force us to wake up from our complacency and examine our lives with fresh eyes. They pull us out of our comfortable routines, push us beyond our self-imposed limits, and make us question everything we thought we knew about ourselves and the world around us. Without those disruptions, without those moments of chaos, we might never develop new skills, challenge old beliefs, or explore paths we would have otherwise ignored. Life, in its infinite wisdom, often uses adversity as a powerful tool for our evolution. Picture a seed. If it remains on the surface, exposed to sunlight and air but never buried, it will never grow into a mighty tree. It needs to be pushed into the darkness of the soil, a seemingly hostile environment. It needs to break apart from within, shedding its outer shell, and struggle upward toward the light. The process is undoubtedly difficult, requiring immense effort and resilience, but it's the only way for life to emerge, for the seed to fulfill its potential. The same is true for us. Without difficult moments, without those inner breaking points that force us to confront our vulnerabilities and challenge our limitations, we wouldn't have the chance to reach our true potential. And please, as we near the end of the video, take a moment to subscribe to the channel to join this community. There's a story in Buddhism that illustrates this perfectly. A disciple, feeling overwhelmed and disheartened by the challenges he faced, once asked his master why life had to be so hard. The master, understanding the disciple's struggle, took him to a nearby forest and pointed to a butterfly struggling to free itself from its cocoon. The disciple, moved by compassion, wanted to ease the butterfly's struggle. So, he carefully tore open the cocoon to release the butterfly. It emerged, but its wings were weak and underdeveloped, and it could never fly. The master explained, the effort to break free from the cocoon, the struggle against resistance, is what strengthens the butterfly's wings. Without the struggle, it cannot fly. Just like the butterfly, we need the resistance of life's challenges to build our strength and resilience. Every difficult situation forces us to adapt, to grow, to find new ways to face what lies ahead. Without those moments of chaos, we would remain stuck, trapped in our comfort zones, never realizing our full potential. Buddhism teaches us to see chaos not as a curse, but as an opportunity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What change is this trying to bring about in my life? What is this experience inviting me to transform?" If we look back on our own lives, we'll likely find that most of our personal growth didn't happen in times of peace and stability, but rather during moments of crisis and upheaval. Loss taught us the value of what we had. Failure made us more resilient. Unexpected changes pushed us down roads we never would have chosen on our own, leading us to unexpected discoveries and opportunities. Accepting chaos doesn't mean enjoying suffering or seeking out painful experiences. It means understanding that it's an inherent part of the process of growth and transformation. When we stop resisting and start flowing with change, when we embrace the uncertainty of life, we find a strength we didn't know we had. Life isn't about avoiding challenges or creating a perfectly controlled environment. It's about learning how to use those challenges to our advantage, to learn, to grow, and to evolve. Every crisis is an invitation to transform, to step into a new version of ourselves. If we trust the process, if we surrender to the flow of life, we'll see that after the chaos subsides, a new version of ourselves always emerges, stronger, wiser, and more free than before. Dharma, the invisible order of life. There are moments in life when we feel completely out of control, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. We face obstacles we never expected, our carefully laid plans crumble before our eyes, and we begin to wonder if we're on the wrong path, if we've somehow made a wrong turn along the way. But Buddhism teaches us something profoundly different. Nothing in the universe happens by chance. There is an invisible order, a subtle but powerful force, guiding everything, even when we can't see it. This order is known as Dharma. Dharma is the natural law that governs all existence, the intricate web of cause and effect that connects everything in the universe. It's the quiet, perfect flow behind life's seemingly random events, the underlying principle that ensures everything happens at exactly the right time and for a specific reason. There are no mistakes in Dharma, no accidents, no coincidences. Even the experiences we perceive as negative, the hardships and setbacks that cause us pain, are part of a much larger balance, a grand cosmic design that we may not fully understand. Look at nature. The seasons change exactly when they need to, following an intricate cycle that sustains all life. Rivers flow without resistance, carving their paths through mountains and valleys, always finding the easiest and most efficient route to the sea. Trees grow without rushing, patiently unfolding their leaves and branches, drawing nourishment from the earth and reaching for the sky. Nothing in nature questions why things are the way they are, it simply follows its course, trusting the natural order of things. But as human beings, with our complex minds and our insatiable desire for control, we struggle with this concept. We want life to conform to our expectations, to follow our carefully laid plans, and to provide us with guarantees of safety and security. And when it doesn't, when life throws us curveballs and deviates from our script, we suffer. There's an old Buddhist story that captures this tension beautifully. A man was caught in a violent storm at sea. He fought against the waves with everything he had, desperately trying to keep himself above water, to maintain control of the situation. But the more he struggled, the more exhausted he became, and the more he sank. Finally, in a moment of surrender, he let go and allowed himself to float. At that moment, the current gently carried him back to shore. This is how Dharma works. When we stop resisting, when we cease our desperate attempts to control everything, and when we trust the flow of life, we often find our way with much less suffering. This doesn't mean we should be passive, simply accepting whatever comes our way without taking any action. Nor does it mean that everything is predetermined, that we have no agency in our own lives. On the contrary, Dharma invites us to act with awareness, to make choices that are aligned with our true nature, with our values, and with the greater good. Many times, suffering arises when we drift away from our purpose, when we ignore our inner guidance and pursue paths that are not authentic to who we are. Life sends us signals, subtle clues that we're moving in the wrong direction, and if we ignore them, we're met with obstacles that force us to realign with our true selves. Buddhism teaches that when something leaves our life, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a cherished possession, it's because it no longer serves our growth. It's making space for something new, something more aligned with our evolving selves. When we are challenged, when we face difficulties that seem insurmountable, it's because we are being prepared for what's next, for the next stage of our journey. And when something is delayed, when our dreams seem to be perpetually out of reach, it's because the timing isn't right yet. The universe is waiting for us to be ready, to develop the necessary skills and inner strength to handle what's coming. Dharma reminds us that everything happens in its own time, at its own pace. We can't force a flower to bloom before its season arrives, nor can we make the sun rise any earlier than it's meant to. The same is true for our personal journeys. We often crave quick answers, we want the pain to end immediately, and we desire change to happen now. But life has its own rhythm, its own unfolding, and resisting that rhythm only leads to frustration and suffering. Trusting that rhythm, surrendering to the flow of life, frees us from anxiety and allows us to find peace even in the midst of uncertainty. When we begin to understand that everything unfolds for a reason, that there is an underlying intelligence guiding our experiences, we stop seeing difficulties as punishments and start seeing them as opportunities. If something isn't working, rather than fighting against it, we can ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach me? What am I meant to learn from this experience? Often, we only understand Dharma in retrospect. What looks like a devastating loss today may later reveal itself as exactly what we needed to set us on a new and more fulfilling path. If we can trust life's invisible order, if we can surrender to the flow of Dharma, we'll find peace even in the midst of uncertainty, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. Each of us has a unique path, a journey that is perfectly tailored to our individual needs and our ultimate potential. We can't compare our journey to anyone else's, judging ourselves against their milestones and achievements. What's right for another person may not be right for us. Learning to listen to our inner voice, to trust our intuition, and to embrace change with openness and flexibility helps us walk in harmony with Dharma, aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life. If you find this information helpful, please like this video. We are not here by accident. Every experience, every person we meet, and every decision we make is part of a greater balance, a complex tapestry woven together by the threads of Dharma. When we trust that everything happens in its perfect time, when we surrender to the flow of life, we stop living in fear and start living with purpose. The illusion of control, learning to trust the flow of life. From the moment we're young, we're taught that we need to take control of our lives. If we work hard, make plans, and make the right decisions, we're told things will go the way we want. But sooner or later, life proves otherwise. No matter how carefully we plan, there are things that slip through our fingers. A relationship that seemed stable falls apart. A job we thought was secure disappears. Plans that looked perfect suddenly fail for reasons we can't explain. When things don't go our way, we feel frustrated, anxious, and afraid. We ask ourselves what we did wrong. Why did everything fall apart when we tried to do everything right? This is where Buddhism offers a powerful insight. Control is an illusion. Nothing in life is ever truly certain. We think we can create stability, but the truth is life moves according to its own rhythm. The problem is that our mind craves certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know exactly what's going to happen and when. And when life doesn't deliver those guarantees, we panic. There's an old Buddhist story that explains this beautifully. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life was so unpredictable. The first advisor said it was all luck. The second said it was the result of past decisions. But the third said nothing. Instead, he led the king to a river and asked him to try to stop the water with his hands. The king tried, but no matter what he did, the water kept flowing. The advisor then said, "Life is like this river. You can try to control it, but in the end, it will flow the way it needs to. The only choice you have is to learn to move with it." Suffering often comes from clinging to how we think things should be. We tell ourselves we'll only be happy if we achieve a certain goal. If life stays exactly how we want it. If nothing changes. But life doesn't work that way. It never has. And the tighter we hold on to our need for control, the harder it becomes to flow with what's happening. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means understanding that while we can take action and make choices, we can't force life to follow our script. We do our best, but we release our grip on the outcome. In Buddhism, there's a practice known as wui. It translates to effortless action or non-doing. It doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means acting in harmony with the natural flow of life. Rather than trying to push against the current, we learn to navigate with it. Rather than resisting the inevitable, we adapt and move gracefully with what life brings. When we trust that life will take us where we need to go, anxiety begins to fade. We stop obsessing over what might happen tomorrow and start living fully in the present. We accept that there will be times of uncertainty, but we no longer see them as threats. We see them as natural and necessary parts of our journey. One helpful practice is to reflect on past moments when life didn't go as planned, yet something better emerged. Maybe a relationship ended and led to deeper self-discovery. Maybe a lost job opened the door to a more meaningful career. Maybe a failure revealed strengths you didn't know you had. When we let go of the illusion of control, we stop living in fear. We stop trying to manipulate every detail of life and instead trust our ability to face whatever comes. This doesn't mean life will be easy. But it does mean we can find peace even in the middle of uncertainty. Life is not something we control. It's something we learn to live. When we stop fighting the natural flow, we discover a calm and clarity we didn't think were possible. If you have enjoyed this video, the team at Wisdom and Wealth would like you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content focused on personal growth, financial well-being, and finding deeper meaning in your life, especially for those of us over 40. A sense of peace in the unexpected and ways to feel calm in the middle of uncertainty. Life is full of surprises. One moment everything seems steady, and the next, everything shifts. We might lose a job, a relationship might end, a problem may show up that we never expected. Uncertainty is a part of life. But instead of accepting it, most people try to fight it. We look for safety, control, and certainty. But change is really the only thing that always stays. Buddhism teaches that peace doesn't come from getting rid of uncertainty, but from learning how to live with it. We can't stop life from changing, but we can choose how we react. We can find peace even when nothing feels sure. Imagine you are in a small boat drifting in the middle of the ocean. If you try to control the waves, you'll wear yourself out. But if you learn to move with them, to go with the flow instead of fighting, you'll see you can get through even the roughest waters. Uncertainty is a lot like the ocean. We can't stop its motion, but we can learn how to sail. There's a story in Buddhist tradition about a monk who lived at the top of a mountain. One day, a villager rushed up to warn him. "A huge storm is coming," he said. "You need to leave before it's too late." The monk calmly answered, "If the storm arrives, I will welcome it." The villager, confused, said again, "But you might die." And the monk smiled and replied, "If I die, I will accept death. If I live, I will accept life. No matter what happens, I will accept it." This doesn't mean we should be careless or ignore how to protect ourselves. What it means is we let go of fearing what we cannot control. The fear of uncertainty comes from not trusting our ability to face the unknown. But the truth is, we have already made it through every challenge life has given us, and that means we can handle whatever comes next. Often, the unexpected brings chances we never would have thought about. Losing a job can open the door to a new career. The end of a relationship can lead to better self-understanding. A sudden challenge can help us grow in ways we never thought possible. When life changes our plans, it could actually be making room for something better. One useful way to find peace in uncertain times is to ask yourself, how many times has something that seemed bad at first turned out to be a hidden gift? Do I really need all the answers right now? Am I missing what's happening now because I'm too worried about a future that hasn't happened yet? Life is always moving forward. Fighting that flow only causes more pain. Accepting the unknown doesn't mean giving up on your hopes or dreams. It means trusting that no matter what happens, you'll find your way. Peace isn't about having every answer. It's about learning to live with the questions. It's not about knowing exactly what will happen tomorrow. It's about trusting you'll be able to deal with whatever comes. Nothing in life is ever completely certain. But when you let go of your fear of what's unknown, you find a wonderful freedom. Instead of worrying about what could happen, you start to live fully in the present. The path to awakening. How every event brings us closer to understanding. Life can often feel unsure. We face challenges, losses, and changes we never wanted. Still, each of these times holds a lesson. Buddhism teaches us that every situation, no matter how hard or confusing, is part of our path to awakening. Enlightenment isn't some distant goal. It's not something we have to look for outside of ourselves. It's already within us, just waiting to be seen. And every moment in life, especially the difficult ones, asks us to wake up, to notice things as they really are, without fear, without fighting against them. Think about the times you grew the most. They probably weren't your easiest days. They were the times when life tested you, pushed you, and made you look inside yourself. That's the path to awakening. Not a quick breakthrough, but a slow and steady journey of learning about yourself and your place in the world. When we stop asking why is this happening to me and start asking what can I learn from this, everything begins to change. We move from feeling like victims to becoming learners in life. Every challenge turns into a lesson. Every setback becomes a chance to grow. So if life feels tough right now, if you're dealing with something you don't fully understand, trust that it's part of your journey. Nothing is ever wasted. Nothing happens without a reason. Everything you experience is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. If this message speaks to you, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel and join this community where we explore these ideas together. And I'd really like to know what lesson from this video meant the most to you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.